Welcome back. It's Money Monday, sponsored by Heffron Tillotson, and today we're talking about something really important for women, and that is making sure they and their families are taken care of when it comes to the future. Meet certified financial planner Erin Weber, financial advisor Amy Riley, and senior VP and accredited investment fiduciary Maggie Canaan. Erin, talk a little bit about the challenges, because they are different for women in some cases, right?
Absolutely. Women are more educated than ever. 56% of current college students are women, and females are running nearly 1/3 of the U.S. businesses, and the number of women-owned firms is continuing to grow. The problem is women are becoming very busy with their careers, and on top of that, they're taking care of their families at home. They simply don't have the time to devote to understanding their finances. Women are 3 times more likely to fail a basic financial literacy test.
That amazes me. Like, to have that kind of difference like that, it really speaks to why you all want this message to go out to women.
You're absolutely right. Not having this information can be detrimental when they're trying to plan for the future. So what women need to do is they need to commit to understanding their finances at the end of the day. There are a ton of resources available, books, blogs, articles. Often companies will offer education as well for their employees. Another thing is, in the community, there's several seminars. In fact, I host free monthly seminars geared specifically towards women in investing. So commit to financial knowledge by devoting just 5 minutes a day to reading an article. Or often women won't have time to sit down and read an article. They can listen to a podcast while they're getting ready in the morning or on the ride to work in the car.
Right.
But doing this will be able to give them the financial knowledge they need to become financially literate and truly help them guide their future finances.
Amy, what else? Like, what other challenges do you think women face? Because you would think that women are being raised to think about finances on an equal level now, and that's not necessarily the case.
Correct. So we see a lot of change happening, which is super exciting. Women are stepping up to the table. They're becoming more active with their finances as a result of making great strides in the workforce. But yet us women, we tend to have some differences compared to the men. So on average, women tend to have a longer retirement than men. We live longer, about 6 to 8 years on average.
Yeah, women live longer than men, and they need to plan for that.
Right. But unfortunately, women tend to save less as a result, because we're out being that caregiver in the caregiving role, whether it's for our children or our aging parents. So about 15% of our work career is outside of the field. And then also, living to age 95 is a reasonable assumption. So longevity can be a concern. And then hand in hand also is the extended healthcare risks. So what I encourage women to do is to save. Save as often, as early as possible into that retirement plan. That way your money's working for you while you're in that caregiving role. Whether it's setting aside your tax refund, your raise, whatever you can, put it towards retirement. And also, don't forget to explore long-term care expenses. Look at a long-term care policy to help protect not only yourself, but your family and your financial portfolio from those substantial costs.
So many times in families, women take care of everyone else.
Correct.
They're the caregivers. They also need to think about their own plan. Yeah,
Right.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Maggie, what steps should women take in sort of constructing this, and what should they do?
Since women tend to be nurturers, often their own needs can go unaddressed. Most women have a lifetime of experience around being patient, or struggle, or sacrifice for a greater good. These are qualities that make women very receptive to financial planning and good clients. They're open-minded and willing to follow a plan. But given the statistics that women live longer than men, there's a significant concern around how long their money will last, which leads to those important discussions around how their money should be invested, central to financial planning. And many of our senior female clients will tell us they feel as though they shouldn't spend their money. They shouldn't travel or gift, given the uncertainty and probability around a declining health issue.
And how sad is that?
It is. There's also the inevitable loss of a spouse.
Yeah.
Many of our clients don't even want to have that discussion. That could lead to a substantial decline in retirement income. But when you sit with an advisor, those tough discussions will happen until all your financial and estate planning matters are in good order.
And it's really important to have those discussions, even the difficult ones. But talk to us about how you pick an advisor. I mean, you want somebody that you feel comfortable with, and also someone you can trust, right?
You're absolutely right. You want to look for an advisor that's going to hold your hand through market volatility to help make sure you don't make those irrational decisions. Fear and greed are two very compelling emotions. An advisor can take that away from you to help make decisions that are in your best interest for the long term, not necessarily what your emotions are trying to convince you in the short term.
Right. Oh, that makes so much sense.
Yeah, and you want to look for someone who makes you feel comfortable, someone who takes time to answer all of your questions, but also makes you feel comfortable enough to ask those questions that you do have. The more knowledge you have, the more confidence you'll have with the financial plan.
I've learned in years of reporting there's no dumb question, and you have to be comfortable to be able to ask that. Maggie, what would you add?
I would say that a good advisor will empower their clients to become and then remain financially independent. Everyone deserves to work with an advisor, and we believe that everyone should.
All right, well, thank you all for being here and really talking about something that I think needs to be talked about. So hopefully it will help a lot of people.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thanks to Heffron Tillotson for sponsoring today's Money Monday segment. Some good advice to help women prepare for the future for themselves and for their families as well.